say there are no guarantees for anything, but today I can guarantee you that we're going to have a rocking time. So we're going to talk about the storm that's brewing in Delhi, the liquor storm.
First of all, I want to do something. I want to do a garba saying is bari 400 par.
Good evening and a warm welcome to everyone who's tuned in to today's podcast. This podcast is being streamed on Thinkly. Thinkly is India's fastest growing platform for communities. And if you haven't joined my community Politics Ke Sur, please do join right now and also subscribe to my YouTube channel that goes by the same name. They say there are no guarantees for anything, but today I can guarantee you that we're going to have a rocking time. And the reason I can say so confidently is because I'm joined by two speakers who really need no introduction. With me is Nandini, who is, if you've been on Twitter, then you know that she's one of the most eloquent and articulate voices on Twitter. Her blogs are a big rage. And some blogs will be always etched in your memory because once you read them, you just can't get them out of your mind. They're a masterclass in writing. Along with Nandini, I have the feisty and fiery Payal, whose videos are absolutely rocking. I guess they're being played all over the world. And Payal also probably holds the world record for the most amazing collection of sunglasses, I guess.
Eyeglasses.
Eyeglasses, sorry, eyeglasses. And I stand corrected. And also Payal is known to speak her heart out. Her emotions speak louder than words. So without further ado, welcome ladies. And I'm sure I'm going to have a lovely evening in this exciting conversation with two outspoken ladies. So thank you for taking time out and joining me in today's podcast.
Thank you, Samir.
Thank you. It's almost fitting that we begin the session with a cheers because that's what the first topic of our discussion is. And cheers. So we're going to talk about the storm that's brewing in Delhi, the liquor storm. And it's only delightfully ironic, if I could say so, because if you recall, Anna Hazare, who was Arvind Kejriwal's guru and who introduced Arvind Kejriwal in our world, unfortunately, shot to fame because of a Daru Bandi campaign in his village Ralegan Siddhi. And Kejriwal, who dumped his guru, is ironically today in trouble because of the liquor scam. So I guess justice is poetic after all. But you two are the experts from Delhi. So I begin with Payal. What do you have to say?
First of all, I want to do something. I want to do a garba saying is bari 400 par.
And Modi once more, 2024.
400 par, garba 400 par. Yes, Delhiite, इसका दुख तुम लोग क्या जानो? बॉम्बेite और चेन्नईite और इसका दुख तुम लोग क्या जानो हमारे साथ? सबसे पहले तो मैं एक बात बोलना चाहूंगी. Generally ना, you must have noticed that I don't troll politicians because मेरे को ऐसे लगता है पता नहीं कब वो बीजेपी में आ जाए और वो कब वो कहीं बीजेपी का कहीं और चले जाए. So I generally don't troll politicians. Kejriwal also I don't comment on his tweets, but I do comment and I do troll, and I'm admitting that I'm a troller. I do troll his social media team and his supporters, who I don't know from where they get the facts and figures, and they keep quoting stuff for him. But the thing is, I'm very disappointed and angry with my chief minister because main reason was COVID. During COVID, I've seen like 8-9 ambulances in my lane every day. Our sons and daughters, my relatives, my friends, everybody, there was like as if, death was the only news I was hearing from my lane. And what he was doing, now we come to know, is that he was planning his Sheesh Mahal, and then he was planning this excise thing, and for this Sharab Niti he was doing, and it dis- it disturbs me that he's my CM. It really disturbs me. And what he did in the whole thing was that he wanted to make Modi look bad. He wanted to make India look bad, and he wanted Pfizer by hook or by crook, this whole cabal. And what they did to people, they don't even realize that how much suffering we all went through. And I don't think so we can ever get over it. I've seen, like, a mother crying on the road, running. Her 18-year-old kid was taken away in the ambulance because we could not go to the cremation grounds. And किसी के father जा रहे हैं, किसी के चाचा जा रहे हैं, किसी का servant जा रहा है. What we saw now, I'm so disgusted with this CM of mine, and I'm openly saying it. And just to make Modi look bad, what he did to Delhiites is very, very sad. So this is what I'm going to, and his Sharab Niti, I don't know what he's done, what he wants. I saw one video, I don't know how, whether it was a fact or not, but there was this one Sardarji who was saying that 25-25 रुपए का 20-20 रुपए का पौवा मिल रहा है, पाउच मिल रहा है, एंड हमारी कॉलोनी के बच्चे वो एक के साथ एक फ्री ले रहे हैं, और एक बॉटल के साथ दूसरी बॉटल फ्री मिल रही है. What was he doing, and what is he up to? And I believe there's a certain rule that 3 kilometers or 5 kilometers from the school or from the mandir, you can't have a liquor shop. But all rules were broken. All rules were broken. So I'm disgusted, and I'm by this whole policy of liquor thing. And I'm also disgusted because the kind of promises he made and the kind of image he gave us, that this all he's going to do, and he's against corruption, and he's against XYZ, he's for education, he's for the poor, and this thing. Sad state of affairs. To you, Nandini.
Well, I agree entirely with what, Payal has said. So coming to the present, I just thought that the first day when I heard that the ED had, taken him in for questioning, I was hesitating to go out thinking that, the entire Shaheen Bagh and farmers protester lot will be on the streets, and that there'll be, mayhem. But eventually I did go out, and I saw the streets were quiet. There was nobody. I think everybody expected the worst, so everybody stayed indoors. Right. But the best barometer, I believe, is, to know how a city is thinking, pulsating, is when you go to a construction site. And so when I went to my, where one of my projects was going on, I went there and I thought the conversation will be all about Kejriwal, because these are the beneficiaries. These are the people on this construction site in 2019 who went out and voted for him en bloc,
Yes.
Yeah. So there was a sort of a very strange silence. And I said, "Sadkon pe nahi utar rahe aapka chief minister, उसको
लाखों में सड़कों पे उतरेंगे."
हाँ, so there was this देखेंगे, देखता अभी आगे देखो. The more interesting conversation that was happening was on Mukhtar Ansari. That did you see how many people came out for the procession, for his funeral procession? He was such a terrible man, and everybody, this is from Bihar and UP, everybody had their stories to tell. It was on a completely different track. It was like Kejriwal, nothing was happening about him. There was no story, there was nothing. Just yesterday, so now it's nearly a week, or I don't know how many days, so I was back on the same site, and I thought there'd be some conversation. And then the thing started coming out. The last 3-4 years have been very bad. And that is why people are saying they know that he's done a lot of damage. And the two things I gather from the people, this class of people, is what has affected them most is the liquor policy. It has ruined families. I see that in my own workshop. People would have no show on Mondays, where people used to come at dot 8:30, get themselves roll called in and whatnot. Young men wouldn't show up. Contractors were worried about the pace of work and timelines. Parents were worried. Wives were saying, "Aap isko haath mein paise mat do, ye mat karo." that liquor policy had really damaged the fine threads of life, whether it's work or family, and we don't realize that. And the second thing, which has been a big letdown, though they keep saying it's maybe Gotala, us maybe Gotala, ye bhi Gotala, but the thing which really let them down is the Mohalla clinics. So Delhi citizens have been deprived of Ayushman Bharat because he promised us these world-class clinics.
Correct.
We didn't get the world-class clinics. Neither can we access Ayushman Bharat. So when you are at a level where one illness can set the family back by years of savings, that has been a very, very big betrayal. So there is a lot of anger, and people are watching and waiting and thinking he's going to get his just dues. That house, which is in your face, the liquor policy, which has affected everybody, and this Ayushman Bharat not having access to it, and these Mohalla clinics, which have been a big sham, all this has turned out to be, which makes the man hesitate to go out and support him open. Everybody's waiting and watching, making it.
Yes.
Yeah, Sameer, I would also like to say, I remember when they made this manifesto, before elections, when they made this manifesto, they calculated everything in front of, like, they were coming on national TV, and they were saying, हमको इधर से 200 करोड़ मिल रहा है, उधर से 500 करोड़ मिल रहा है, तो हम इतनी यूनिवर्सिटीज खोल रहे हैं, फिर हम लोग इतने हॉस्पिटल्स खोलेंगे, हम इसमें ये करेंगे. इन्होंने जितना दिल्ली का बजट था, उसमें इन्होंने इतनी सारी चीजें हमें प्रॉमिस करी, and they were looking all very real, कि my God, तो 200 करोड़ में तो ये लोग इतने क्लिनिक्स बना देंगे, ये सब बना देंगे, और इन्होंने ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं किया. So and still Delhiites voted for him again. Because with one mohalla clinic की फोटोज दिखा के, एक स्कूल की फोटो दिखा के, इसने लोगों ने एफर्ट ही नहीं किया कि they were going, and even I'll blame Delhi BJP also. They also did not make any effort to expose him.
Yeah.
Nobody was exposing him.
Yeah.
No, and that's true, because it was always more PR and more talk than actual work on the ground.
Yes.
Because if you recall, he had international newspapers covering his model school and the single solitary mohalla clinic, but eventually it turned out to be an avenue to give unemployed AAP leaders
and it was a
some
school
income.
From Mayur Vihar. The school he was showing, the picture he showed was, the picture is some this Christian missionary school from Mayur Vihar. That pictures were being shown.
No,
and now that summer has come in and we've already forgotten the pollution of winter, Parali was such a big thing, and what a sham. Every day advertisements, we are doing this with the farmer, we are doing that. Now you have Punjab under you. They could have easily controlled the situation, but we coughed our way through. I mean, it was horrible. So, when you know that you are gasping for breath and the people in charge are laughing all the way to the bank, it makes you wonder at the quality of caliber of these people. It's very scary.
Callous, heartless, callous.
Yes, absolutely callous.
Eerily sinister also, because they've it's the way they've approached the entire politics of Delhi in almost juvenile style, but for those who can separate the wheat from the chaff.
All over India. I mean, look at the way politicians are attacking each other. The kind of language is being used. कोई कह रहा है कि साला बुला रहा है तो PM जी मतलब मोदी जी को कुछ बोला. The whole language, he has changed the whole scenario. He's changed.
But Payal, AAP tried to make a foray in Mumbai as well, but we called their bluff right there and nipped it in the bud. We didn't let this virus enter the city. The city unit got disbanded. Their city leader is now one of his most vocal critics, a very genuine person actually, who probably got misled by the seemingly good intentions of the party. But वो उनका bluff यहाँ पे बहुत जल्दी call हो गया था. I was very worried when they tried to enter Goa, because I thought the demographic was probably stacked against. But I think the Goans are also, they saw through this.
Goans are intelligent, and couldn't they see the
मैं हूं ना Goan. I am Goan.
भाई तुम intelligent हो, intelligent. नहीं, and Sameer, the thing is, Goa में when I went this time before the elections, and I saw the kind of development that happened. तो वो गोवा दिख नहीं रहा गोन्स को कि क्या है.
But
And they are not stupid. And this free thing, I don't think so Goans get impressed by this free thing.
not at all. But as you know,
this free thing which you're saying is also, it's very strange. Now the lower strata of society for whom all this free was aimed at has seen through it. But
correct.
There is this upper class which lives in condos and big houses and, very well appointed homes and so on. They only see the pictures and keep, praising him. And
Yes.
if you ever ask them, have you been to a mohalla clinic? No, but haven't you seen that the picture that, the advertisement on the papers or the advertisement on TV? I mean, it's so strange. Educated people haven't still seen through the sham or are too embarrassed to, acknowledge that they were fooled, or I don't know what it is. But I feel a certain class has seen through him, and the upper classes who are supposed to be educated are still pushing him and still behind. So in Delhi, it's going to have some kind of a,
and Nandini, when I talk to these auto walas or sabzi wala, these vendors and all, so they tell me, ma'am, पानी आएगा तो बिल आएगा ना. जब पानी ही नहीं है,
बिजली आएगी तो बिल आएगा.
बिजली तो फिर भी आ रही, पर पानी ही नहीं है. He says, and then, but day before I had gone to a parlor, and वहाँ पे this person was like, I was talking to him. I said, किसको वोट देते हो? He says, आपको. मैं कहा, उन्होंने क्या किया आपके लिए? He said, उसने हमें फ्री बिजली पानी दिया. मैं कहा, कौन सी कॉलोनी में रहते हो? He named a colony. मैंने कहा, आप लोगों की कॉलोनी वालों को तो मिल ही रहा है. एक पर्टिकुलर सेक्ट है, एक पर्टिकुलर रिलीजन के लोगों को तो मिल ही रहा है. वो तो उसका मेन वोट बैंक है ना. तो उनको दे रहा है. जहां से उनको वोट नहीं मिलना है, उनको नहीं दे रहा है. एक पर्टिकुलर ये जो गेटोस बने हुए हैं, उनको तो सबको फ्री बिजली पानी मिल रहा है, बट और बाकियों को नहीं मिल रहा है.
पर अभी तो दिल्ली जल बोर्ड का भी तो प्रॉब्लम है. The newlywed is holed up somewhere in England because he doesn't want to come here and face the law.
I believe it's in crores and crores and crores and crores and crores.
So Nandini, you made a very pertinent point about the lull, and I don't think there's any storm coming in as well, because there's the vivid picture of those 5.5 tiny little aptards moving around in the yellow t-shirts, banging their dufflies. That was a very clear picture portent of what's happened. The bubble has burst. Nobody really, I know we have to be politically correct and refrain from using certain words, but nobody really cares about and I guess somewhere deep down within they say, okay, retribution's been justice is being done for all the 10 years of chicanery that people have been subjected to. और उसका
एक और चीज, समीर, ऐसे मत बोलो. Congress still has faith in Kejriwal.
नहीं, वो तो
What are you talking? Congress still has faith. उसपे गालियां खाने के बाद भी they believe in him. They have faith in him.
उस पे मुझे आना है, but I wanted to just make a very a point. I guess pride hath its fall का सबसे बड़ा उदाहरण is Kejriwal, because at some point in time this mayor of a city, glorified mayor of a city, began believing that he believed that he was the alternative to Narendra Modi. His body language in the chief minister's the Zoom sessions, he was almost like the errant bully in the class who feels he's equivalent to the professor, who try to play some mischief or behave funnily. And I think the coterie around him also tried to tell him, but he never realized this. Despite all the electoral setbacks barring Delhi and Punjab, I guess AAP lost 413 deposits in the first election. They had one MP in the second election from Punjab in the general election. They recently lost 205 seats in MP, Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan. They probably set the world record for the most deposits forfeited all across the country. And he still kept believing that, rejection after rejection in almost every city. Haji Payal, bolo na, you want to add something, I know.
No, I want to say that don't say Kejriwal won Punjab. Congress and lost Punjab.
But वैसे तो Delhi also,
because of their own misdeeds.
But Delhi
messed it up. They messed it up.
But Delhi also gave him a foot in the door by virtue of Congress ceding that territory. Congress deliberately, if you recall the first election where there was BJP had 31 seats and AAP had 28, and then it went in for a re-election after 40 days when he quit. BJP retained its vote share, but Congress completely ceded ground because they knew they're not going to win, but they ceded the turf to Kejriwal and giving him a foot in the door. Otherwise, it was, तो आपने जैसे कहा पंजाब और दिल्ली was served to him on a platter, and he thought that's the recipe कि मैं बाकी सारी जगह पे जाके कांग्रेस को अटैक करूं, because he realized that Congress is the weak link, and yesterday I don't know if you all saw the press conference of Sanjay Nirupam.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
He has ripped apart the party to shreds. He has absolutely,
especially the Venu Gopal thing. Did you hear that?
Oh, I saw that. Yes.
Yeah. He's blown them to smithereens, and it's ठीक है, you can always say party छोड़ने के समय आदमी कुछ भी बोल जाता है, but he said things that people knew, but it's just that nobody's had the guts to say this so publicly in the past, and so I guess that's the long and short of it in terms of Kejriwal. But what's going to happen to AAP now? Abhi, I want to hear it from the insiders of the Delhi,
Nandini,
if the case is watertight,
yes,
and I hope the case is watertight, then I think it is just now going to sort of, dwindle and crumble and just wither away. That's what I would think. I don't think they're going to give up so easily because the powers behind them are very, very strong.
Right.
And there will be this push and this, constant belief and prop somebody else up or do something. I mean, they're not going to let go so easily. This lot is just men of straw, these 5, 6, your Atishi who reads a letter every day, and Saurabh and so on and so forth. These are all chotu-motu people. But the powers behind them are the ones who are not going to give up so easily. Correct. At least I don't think so.
Correct.
And it's a constant, this factor, they are always there to disrupt. They're a disruptive factor. And this is they're going to keep using them to disrupt things. I mean, what has Kejriwal done since he's been in power, since 2000, since he's come? He's only disrupted everything. He's never offered anything concrete, anything good, anything which works. It's always right from the first thing to now. It's like he kicks the institutions, he insults, protocol and so on and so forth. He's not a positive unifier. He could have changed the city around. I wish capital was waiting to have somebody good in it who could turn it around. And he, misused the chance and the opportunity. So I don't think he ever had any intention to do anything. I don't think he ever had any intention to. I think he just wanted to get into power, and then his mission was to disrupt. And they will not give up so easily.
But
so we have to be wary, I think.
But the ED taking such a big step to actually taking a CM in sitting chief minister into custody leads me to believe that there is, they clearly have latched on to something substantial, and the court extending custody, remand first, and then eventually granting, giving him judicial custody, means that there is something brewing, significant brewing at the, they see, money trails are always the most difficult to establish, but I think ED's hit something big this time,
even coming back to taking Lalu as an example,
right?
These guys, there was all the proof. He was convicted. He's now on bail. And look at what all he has done in the few months or year, I don't know how many months he's been on bail. So these guys come out on bail and they carry on. There are no restrictions. Look at that Sanjay Singh who came out yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
He was told, I think one of the conditions was you're not going to talk and discuss the case. And that's all he's been doing is to discuss the case. So I don't know how these things function and how they work. As a common citizen, as a lay person who has no idea of the law and only sees what one sees on television, one starts to believe that are there any consequences for them at all?
Lalu was literally cocking a snook at the law. He was playing badminton, cooking champaran mutton. Payal, आप करते हो champaran mutton cook?
मैंने आज भी बनाया है, पर मैं आपको एक बात बोलना चाहूंगी कि देखिए शाहीन बाग के टाइम और फार्मर्स प्रोटेस्ट के टाइम the home ministry did mess up. Whether we are BJP supporters, we are Modi ji supporters, we are Amit Shah ji supporters, but they did mess up, and सब कुछ खराब हो गया उस टाइम. This time when they've arrested him or whatever allegations are there on him, इस बारी I don't think so अमित शाह जी और मोदी जी कोई ऐसी चीज करेंगे जिससे कि ये backfire करे. So that's why I'm very sure that this ED thing, they must be having solid proof. And they must be solid. Otherwise,
and Raghav Chadda's
arrested him just before elections.
And Raghav Chadda's reluctance to come back to India is also sending certain signals, because his wife returned alone and he stayed put there. So, obviously the matter is sub judice, but, going by whatever media reports that are coming out, and, there's always the noise on social media, there seems to be but if this plays along, let me ask this question. I mean, I know track record suggests that AAP has not really been able to make a big mark in the Lok Sabha elections because it's a very local party. But do you think if this person continues to be in jail until voting is over, would it impact Delhi and Punjab? I mean, these are small numbers, but would it in any way impact
In my opinion, no.
Okay.
In my opinion, those touch wood. I mean, there's so much.
Even I'm very superstitious about all. I don't talk about it.
I don't think it's going to impact.
Yeah, and they're trying to make political capital about it, but it seems to have been met with a wishy-washy kind of.
Sameer, another thing you notice कि जैसे पंजाब में भी अब इलेक्शंस हैं, बीजेपी पूरी सीट्स पे 13 की 13 सीट्स पे खुद लड़ रही है. ओके, 13 and then haven't you seen something? Have you noticed this, that Bhagwant Mann is also very mellowed down? And everybody is up in Punjab is very mellowed down.
And Ravneet Bittu's move to BJP was a big sign.
Oh, he's one of my favorite leaders. चाहे वो कांग्रेस में थे,
but sorry, who moving to BJP was a big sign. Who did you say?
Ravneet Bittu.
Yes.
And that shows the winds are changing in that state right now. These are telltale signs of people having realized that there's something big's coming up. And I think, and I really keep my fingers crossed and hope this nightmare, which is probably India's second largest scam after the Parivar, eventually meets its own silent demise, without any noise. So the analysis from the Delhi experts is that it's not going to really have any.
Fingers crossed. I'm not going to say anything because I'm very superstitious. I don't think कितनी seats आएंगी क्या आएगी, बस 400 पार एक बारी गाना गा दिया, but I'm very superstitious.
मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि, and I've always believed it, that Modi ji is destiny's child. He has not become PM twice, and he will become PM again, God willing.
He's got Mahadev's.
उनका वो प्रारब्ध है कि he's not become PM to just leave us after 2 terms and not and let it all go away. So,
but this time an overwhelming mandate. This is what is necessary.
I think that is what is necessary.
So not one seat should be lost to these charlatans. Really.
No, but Nandini, overall, like we keep talking to each other. Like I keep telling you, क्योंकि मैं तो बहुत 2 मिनट में मैं नीचे चले जाती हूँ, करके मैं रिक्शे वाले से बात कराती हूँ, पान वाले से बात कराती हूँ, तो जनरल स्टोर वाले से बात कराती हूँ. The Sri Ram Mandir has changed the whole, there's a euphoria. Modi's Sri Ram euphoria, Modi ji euphoria now.
It's also, I think, the mandir, of course, has its significance for, in Indians and India as a whole. But what it also emphasizes is that something 500 years old could have been done, and this man did it. That's it. He's a doer. The mandir has its significance, but
correct.
But Nandini, they are relating both the things. they are relating Ram Mandir to Modi ji and Modi ji to Ram Mandir.
And
Yes.
So that's having an
Absolutely.
impact on the,
see,
you know,
and
overall.
If he can do this, if he can sort this out, he can do anything. I mean, you know,
Correct.
that is the attitude. So
And-
that's why I believe that to get an overwhelming mandate is going to be so important. To have, there's a list of things which have to be done. And if people believe, yes, he can do it. So I hope, you know, this whole thing in the middle of summer and everybody goes out and votes, I think this is to be emphasized and emphasized. It cannot be emphasized enough.
Nandini, मैंने तो घर से निकाल के ना डंडा लेके निकलना है और मैंने कहा निकलो बाहर.
But that's where the RSS scores, Payal.
Yes.
उनका जो booth level management है ना, it is unparalleled. ये छुट्टियों का जो भूत सवार होता है, that is only in affluent urban societies.
Yes.
And in a way it's good because most of these are traditional Congress voters, if you see, you know.
Yeah.
So,
ऐसे मत कहो समीर, हम लोग सब BJP supporters and Modi supporters.
Outliers
I
are.
mean, Nandini organized an event at her place. And they were all like, you know, all Delhiites, elite class, and they're all Modi. So ऐसे मत बोलो यार.
चलो ठीक है.
हम छुट्टी में चले जाएं.
मुझे नंदिनी का वो मुझे नंदिनी का वो ब्लॉग याद आया pre 2014 वाला, you know, the Lutyens
अच्छा, the anatomy
of a liberal वाला, जब हमने ये बात की, वो that blog has been immortalized, you know, so I will always refer to it whenever I want to.
You know, as बात से बात निकल रही है, so I would like to also, as we're talking about Modi ji ke 400 par, we're heading towards that topic only now.
Yes.
So what I feel is like the other day I'd gone somewhere, so there were like a lot of you know, businessmen, industrialists there, and when I was talking to them, I said, why Modi? Like, you know, they were saying यार ये हिंदू मुस्लिम बहुत हो रहा है. मैं कहा कौन कर रहा है? मोदी जी कर रहे हैं, कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर्स कर रहे हैं. They said no. मैं कहा so then don't pass these statements, you know, just as a random statement pass कर दिया. मैं कहा because ये चार जने जो anti BJP हैं या anti मोदी जी हैं, वो सुनते हैं, फिर वो आगे जाके बोलते हैं because you know you're a big guy, don't pass statements like this. मैंने कहा पर तुम क्यों कह रहे हो मोदी जी चाहिए तुम्हें, हालांकि तुम्हें थोड़ी सी प्रॉब्लम है. He said the kind of policies that he's made in these 10 years. He said if he goes now and if this Khichdi government comes, he said first thing they're going to do is they're going to, you know, सारी policies को लेके delete कर देंगे और नई policies बनाएंगे. हम लोगों का business का बहुत नुकसान होगा. So we have to vote for Modi. That was,
everybody has their reasons and everybody has their own little reason. But the thing is,
everybody's being selfish and all more. And everybody's being selfish in voting for him.
In 2019, I used to meet large pockets of people who were very vocal in this disdain, very vocal in their, you know, being against Narendra Modi. Now you don't meet such people. And what's happened is the supporters have become much more vocal. This is something which I find, otherwise, the ones who were critical were always very loud and the supporters sort of moved away. Now people have their facts, their figures, they take out these graphs.
You know, we have fights in parties. Nandini, parties mein ladai ho jati. We land up fighting with each other. We don't debate. We fight because no facts are being discussed, no figures are being discussed. We just bounce on each other like, how dare you?
Like this now, I feel it's like that now. Nahin, tum mujhe koi fact batao. Where did you, how have you got this feeling? Where did this feeling come from? From which fact? And they don't have that. Oh, because so-and-so said, that one said. So it's very easy to demolish these arguments. Correct. And in the bargain, you're finding more and more people who are vocal enough and speaking loudly enough to say, look, I am for Narendra Modi. I will vote for him. And I can see my future for my children. And I know that there is hope. You know, and whereas the others are like, theek hai, you know, I mean, there's nothing more to say beyond that because they don't have anything solid to counter you.
And the key word you've used is hope right now, you know, because that's what he's done. He's given aspiration to everyone who otherwise, you know, if you recall the pre-2014 days, how many homes or how many people on the road or the street were talking about politics? He's brought politics into the mainstream of the common man's dialogue. Which
they
are eating, drinking, and sleeping politics now.
Which reflects,
we are invested now.
We are invested. That's the right. We are invested in it. It's become, you know, and it reflects a society that's ready to grow and mature and talk about certain issues that otherwise would remain. I was just reading up the other day, being from the pharmaceutical industry. I'll just take a minute because it's slightly technical, but when we have all these meds, the thing that goes into making the meds is called an API, active pharmaceutical ingredient. Okay. And I was shocked. During COVID, the government came out with PLI schemes specifically for making APIs. So I decided to get to the bottom of this and understand why specifically target APIs. And I was shocked that 53 APIs on which are almost more than half of India's essential medicines were classified as critical by the Modi government, because we had almost 100% dependence on China for importing them. We weren't making them. So, and it was the National Security Advisor who flagged this as a national risk. It took the level of an NSA to flag something as, and from 2000, I mean, it's so. Can you imagine another term 14 and had so it just goes to show that these guys from 4 to 14 were literally sleeping on the job. They let the industry
or willfully blind. More sinister.
Yeah, we can't forget that infamous MOU. No, so we're just playing into the hands of the dragon. And
who knows what that MOU said? Keep your eyes closed.
And ये तो छोटी सी एक छोटा सा domain है pharma का. Can you imagine in all other industry domains क्या क्या छक्के पंजे किए होंगे इन्होंने, पता ही नहीं चल रहा है अभी तक. And we will never get to know, because some of this comes into the domain when people like us sit and try and delve deeper. But that's where sometimes you feel BJP should talk about this vociferously.
They do.
I have read about this.
But they do talk about these things. But the thing is, जो जमीन पे जो लोग इनको वोट देते हैं ना, कि जमीन पे जाओगे ना, when you go on the ground and when you talk about these things, उनको overhead transmission
नहीं, ये इंडस्ट्री के लिए बोल रहा हूँ मैं. आपके जो इंडस्ट्री वाले हैं,
लोकल लोगों के साथ
I don't see that. If you actually talk about these things, like I have a lot of conversations on my construction sites at tea time and so on and so forth. And if you talk about certain things, you'd be surprised how much
they're very knowledgeable. Yeah, they're very knowledgeable.
We have this kind of an attitude ki this is not of interest to them. It's almost, sort of it's sort of disdainful kind of thing. It's beyond you. But actually, people now,
they are aware of a lot of things.
And there's a way to communicate this. Suppose you tell the common man, जो आप बुखार की दवा या जो एसिडिटी की दवा लेते हो, उसके अगर दाम 3 गुना बढ़ जाए तो आपको कितना नुकसान होगा. And that is exactly what we were sitting on the brink. During COVID, China actually escalated the prices of these products by 60-65%, which is where the meds would have shot up once again. And it affects all of us. If we are able to convey that particular point in the precise manner that it becomes that the person affected realizes the pain point for him, that's the important part of it, basically.
Yeah.
And Samir, एक और चीज जो मैं बोलना चाहूंगी, like which we discussed at the event you organized, Nandini. But either like when my kids, like they hate coming to my room because they say कि मैं फिर मोदी करती हूँ और बीजेपी की बात कर, then I'll tell them इन्होंने love jihad किया and all that. So my kids hate coming to my room, but they say politics करोगे, then we are not sitting with you. So the other day, by chance हुआ, मैंने कहा promise I won't talk about all these things to you, just sit with me. So अपने आप ही they said, Mom, I hope this Congress is not coming with this khichdi government. Share market में so much of our money is invested in share markets. डूब जाएंगे अगर वो नहीं आया तो.
अरे आज तो इन्होंने self goal किया ना. Do you know that the manifesto of Congress talks about doubling the GDP in 10 years. So they're saying we're trying to slow down the existing growth because on current trends, we're already set to double it in 7 years, So
right.
मुझे वो कुंभकर्ण वाली story याद आ जाती है, because when he was asking, he was praying for a boon, and the gods were worried कि भाई इसको अगर वर मिल जाता है तो ये सबसे शक्तिशाली हो जाएगा. So they went to Ma Saraswati and she said, okay, let me fix this for you guys. So she sat on Kumbhakarna's jiva, and he, instead of asking for Indrapad, which is the kingdom of the gods, he asked for Nidrapad. So it was a beautiful slip of the tongue. And I guess Ma Saraswati is up to her magic once again, because these guys keep making gaffes galore, you know. एक के पीछे एक इनके जो goof ups आ रहे हैं, वो शक्ति वाला कमेंट तो इनको बहुत खाएगा मेरे ख्याल से. आपके what do you guys think?
मोदी जी के आगे तो कुछ बोलना ही नहीं चाहिए.
नहीं,
वो
पर वो
कैच वन वर्ड. मोदी जी तो they will take them to the dry cleaners.
And शक्ति, और उसके पहले वो इरेडिकेट सनातन धर्म वाली बात हो गई. तो ये दोनों चीजें इनको खाएगी बहुत बुरी तरह से.
When the end is near,
yeah,
you do. It's like it's very strange. It's a self-prophecy. You know, you do everything to accelerate it. And I sometimes when I see, you know, this panel with the hand at the back and these 4 people sitting, I'm waiting for the next gaffe. You know, like, okay, what's coming now?
What's coming next?
Yeah. So I think I see the end very close, and I think it will happen very soon. It has to go. It's outlived its life. It's done everything. The Congress has to go, and a new lot of people has to come. How long will they ghasito this guy along and prop him
but
up?
But Nandini, again, I'll say this again. Shri Ram ji ke mandir ne ये चीज करी है क्योंकि Hindus somewhere, so you know that Hindutva thing was lying dormant in their hearts.
Yes.
थे तो वो कहीं ना बाहर निकल के आ रही है, you know, वो trigger हुई है. And you don't want to, like what Rohan Gupta also said, that जब प्राण प्रतिष्ठान हो रहा था हमारे घर में दिए नहीं जले, जब 370 हुआ हम ही ने खुशियां नहीं मनाई, जब बालाकोट स्ट्राइक्स हुई तो हमारे घर में खुशियां नहीं थी, बाकी सब फ्लैट्स में खुशियां मन रहे थे, दिए जल रहे थे. कोरोना के टाइम हमने ही ताली नहीं बजाई, हमने ही हनुमान चालीसा नहीं किया. So कहीं ना कहीं Rohan Gupta. So somewhere, you know, that I'll say that Hindu ka thing was lying dormant in their hearts. And hai to Hindu na, so it's coming out, and they're realizing that a Hindu के लिए बहुत मुश्किल हो रही है, मतलब सनातन धर्म को गाली देने में. They're finding it very difficult.
If you notice, after 22nd January, the saffron flags and the Prabhu Shri Ram and Hanumanji flags, which were put up in घर में जो लगाए थे और मंदिरों में, दुकानों में, they still beautifully fluttering all over. Cities have this lovely saffron vibe to it, and उसके बाद कुछ भी, मतलब if there's been any festival, that's probably celebrated with more gusto and more enthusiasm. I think unapologetically, and it's just brought about that whole enthusiasm which was, like Payal said, dormant, or you know, somewhere we were ठीक है यार, एक और त्योहार है, छुट्टी है, लेट उठेंगे टाइप ऑफ.
we've got out of that syndrome. We've got out of that syndrome of सॉरी ना हम हिंदू हैं, सॉरी ना हम लोग दिवाली मना रहे.
अभी तो रामनवमी भी आनी है ना,
हम शिवरात्रि. That sorry na is gone from our life.
The difference is also very noticeable in the older generation, say like my parents' generation, who were, you know, the independence generation, who did everything to be secular, you know, because the country came first and mattered more. And the being Hindu was put on the back burner. Like, we are Hindu, but we don't have to wear it on our sleeve. But what's happening is I've noticed a little difference in the older generation also, like, which says, like, you know, go out, celebrate, say who you are. We never did that, you know. We were looking at things very differently, but the moment is such that the need has changed, and there is a requirement for everybody to stand up and say, I matter, and what I believe in matters. And I am not going to be pushed back and said, uski pehle soch lo, wo bichare ki soch lo. No, it's my time.
And the other thing that Modi has done is he's brought a certain coolness to quotient to him being Hindu. You know, it's the younger generation is now out. They flaunt their
मंदिर चले जाओ समीर, मंदिर में तुम्हें इतने young these girls and boys are there, and they're coming with pool, नारियल, टीका लगा रहे हैं, धागा बना रहे हैं. You know, that change is there now.
Payal, you know, the best compliments can come from your most vocal critics. That's what they always say. I happened to watch a podcast of Barka Dutt with Nirja Chaudhary. I think Nirja Chaudhary, right?
I saw that.
Did you watch that? Yeah, and
Yes.
you can all tell that she knew, it was a moment of realization. She's
Yes.
seen the Buddha, and you could see the nirvana around her. She narrated her story about how she had been to Kashi after 5 years. और जब एक समय पे 2-5 हजार लोग होते थे, she saw 70,000 people. Most of them were youngsters. So she said,
Yes.
that's what Narendra Modi has done to the younger generation. He's enthused, and he's created that pride of being
Yeah.
Hindu, and the love which you can flaunt openly. So wo
In fact, there was another one of Faye D'Souza with same Ninja and with Prahlad Kakkar. And Nisha had already heard before on Barkhadat, so
Right.
I already expected her to be on the. But he got me by surprise, and he said, "It's about time. It's good." And she was trying to veer the conversation, and I thought, "Tumhara time to gaya." You know, you are not going to get these people now who are going to agree with you. People are actually standing up and saying, "This is what it's meant to be. This is what it's supposed to be. Celebrate it." You know. But she tried so much, but she couldn't manage to get the conversation.
There was a word that Nirja used, says, and suddenly I realized that this Hindutva need not be malignant, which talks about the deep rooted disgust they had for Hindutva. And it's almost like a whole new realizations dawned upon her, and saying, now I realize that it can also be benign,
and positive.
And positive.
No, so, but Sameer and Nandini, you see this thing, like they got like अभी मैं किसी से बात कर रही थी, वो अभी वहां पे जो लेटेंस दिल्ली में घरों में रह रहे थे, इनको बड़े बड़े घर मिले हुए थे, they were not paying the rent, they were getting so many facilities from the government. Rajya Sabha mein they were getting X amount of money to make these documentaries. They had posts in Rajya Sabha, तो दूरदर्शन में they had posts. So this whole cabal has made so much of money out of they criticized Hindutva, the Sanatan Dharma, and made money and pleased their masters. So now अब इनको इस age में आके change करना will be very tough. So इनको ये malignant भी लगेगा, लगेगा.
But can you imagine how much
they made their mullahs out of it,
they harbored for their own faith? It was almost shocking when she used that word, but I mean, now she's realized that you can't beat them, so you got to join them, kind of a situation.
They don't have a choice now. They don't have a choice now.
They don't have a choice.
And because Modi ji is also very, very, he's very blunt, and the way he, he'll tell them indirectly, directly, he'll tell them कि भैया तुम लोग तो चुप रहो, तुम लोग तो बोलने लायक ही नहीं हो. If I expose you ना, तुम लोग बोलने लायक ही नहीं.
और अभी रामनवमी और हनुमान जयंती भी आ रही है.
रामनवमी में अयोध्या जा रहे हैं मोदी जी.
Are you going?
Yeah, of course.
No, I'm not going. No, I'm not. Modi ji जा रहे हैं, मैं नहीं जा रही.
And understandably so. रामनवमी पे इस बार तो मतलब बनता ही है ना जाना, because this is
the first Ramnavami after that.
Oh, of course, and that'll be a sight to behold, to be very honest.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
So if I was to ask each of you to pick a number.
ना, मैं तो नहीं करूंगी. I'm superstitious.
पायल, आपको करना पड़ेगा.
नहीं, बिल्कुल भी नहीं करूंगी. I just say Modi once more.
I will do my best. I will do my best. I will take everybody I know or distantly know, related to. I will do my best to go and vote and take everybody with me. And I will make the numbers, but I cannot give you it.
And Nandini, you said a very nice thing that day at your place. You said, don't talk to the haters. Don't try to convince them. Speak to the fence sitters. And stop interacting with the haters.
Don't engage because the vertical split.
Try to convince the fence sitters जो थोड़े से confused हैं, and the job will be done.
पायल, आपने देखा होगा मेरे TL पे, I have stopped engaging with abusive handles or people who are known to be on the other side since years now. I just mute
तो बड़ा मजा आता है. मुझे तो गालियां देने में बड़ा मजा आता है.
Sometimes, but even I try to do that.
मैं mute करके चला जाता हूँ, and I leave them to And in fact, I believe that they would probably get more irritated because ये बंदा reply नहीं करता है, वो 10 बार मुझे stalk करके
ऐसे ऐसे कैसे समीर, जब तक लड़ाई झगड़ा ना हो मेरे को तो खाना हजम नहीं होता।
मैं अभी but nevertheless, since you are not picking a number, we can only say आपकी बार 400 बार, I guess, right?
नहीं, आपकी बार मोदी once more, आपकी बार 400
मुझे अभी ये मग लेना पड़ेगा।
भेज देंगे तुमको।
I think these are available on Amazon, right? I can
No, there's a link on which they are available. I'll send you that link. It's a
Oh, I
Swaraj
think
magazine.
it's made by the same people who made this Modi Once More T-shirt.
Yes, I think
Oh, then I know
available.
the folks. I saw so Amit.
Nandini, send me the link because a lot of people are asking.
So I guess they have a team in Delhi. So I know the folks in Mumbai. I think there's Amit
I
Kadani.
don't know about the mugs actually. I'm not very sure, but the T-shirts I know. But the mugs, anyway, you can ask me for the mugs, Payal. I'll send you a whole lot.
नहीं, but ट्विटर पे लोग मांग रहे हैं लिंक ना,
मैं
भेजेंगे सबको।
मैं लिंक भेजता हूँ आपको टी-शर्ट्स वाला, because the Mumbai coordinator
टी-शर्ट वाला तो सबके पास है। Everybody wants these mugs and these bands.
हाँ, मुझे भी चाहिए।
मुझे भी चाहिए wristbands.
भाई नंदनी so magnanimous, उसने इतने सारे सबको का, मैं तो like a greedy
मुझे आपका वो
kid goes for खोई bag.
My bitch towards making history, I must have a little foothold in it. If this victory will be as much mine as Modi's, so I have to be invested in it emotionally, intellectually, passionately. You know,
and I attacked the whole I attacked the खोई bag. Remember? I said, मुझे 12 और दे दे, 6 और दे दे, 10 और दे दे.
But I love that photograph that you all put up. That was such a beautiful get together. That is so nice.
That was a very
Listen,
nice one.
Sameer, we are the beauties of Delhi.
No, that is why I wanted to have the two of you over for this conversation. No, it was so nice, and I think we had some fun. But I'd really love it if we could do this a few more times in the run up to the elections and speak on some more specific issues. All of you are busy, but thoda samay nikalo and ekad ghanta we can have a nice chat on maybe a Friday evening or something, if that's okay.
Happy to.
Yeah. So on this note, thank you so much, Nandini and Payal.
Thank you.
Har Har Modi, Ghar Ghar Modi, Modi once more.
जो राम को लाए हैं,
हम उनको लाएंगे. Lovely. Thank you so much. Have a lovely weekend, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Har Har Mahadev.
Har Har Mahadev.
Jai Shri Ram.
Jai Shri Ram.